Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Francisca, and in today's video we're going to be doing a shoulder princess seam pattern on pattern paper. I'm going to be doing this as well on fabric and then sew it up together so you guys see the result. So basically, like I said, this is a shoulder princess seam pattern. It runs from your shoulder through your bust all the way to your waistline. So we can now go ahead and begin the process. So I have my pattern paper, I have my tape rule, scissors, marker pens, my rulers, my favorite tool, which is the pattern master tool, and then of course my French curve. So what I'm going to do first is mark my top line. I'm going to mark that right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and mark the line of fold because we are working with the front piece and it's on fold actually. So most of my patterns are usually on fold. So I mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I mark another point parallel to that so that we can get a good straight line. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and mark my armhole measurement divided by 2. Usually my armhole round divided by 2. I'm going to mark it on another point so that we get a good straight line there as well, and then I join the points. So once I'm done with this, now I'm going to mark midpoint of my armhole length. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch inwards. The reason I'm doing this is so that we don't end up with a gaping armhole, especially if you are working with a sleeveless dress. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark my bust measurement divided by 4 on this line that terminates at the armhole line. This will help us get, our armhole curve, which runs from the shoulder points through the 1/2 inch inwards down to the bust measurement divided by 4. So we mark our neck depth. For the neck width, I'm going to measure my shoulder measurement, fold my tape rule into 2, and then the dent I get on my tape rule, I'm just going to replicate that on the pattern paper from the center, from the line of fold, sorry. So I'm just going to mark that right here, and this is if you want a neck width that has the same width as your shoulder slant basically. And then I join the points with the curved part of my pattern master. I'm going to go ahead and mark a 1 inch shoulder slant, and then join the point all the way to my neck width. Then I go ahead and mark my bust point line. So that's usually from your shoulder to your nipple area. So I'm going to mark that on another point so that we end up with a straight line. So after this, I do the same, repeat the same thing for my under bust and my waistline. I mark the vertical measurement from shoulder to under bust, join the points, do the same thing for my waist. From shoulder to waist is a vertical measurement. I mark 2 points so that I get a perfect straight line, and then I join the point. So after this, the next thing we're going to do is mark our nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I'm going to be marking that at the under bust, the bust point, and the waistline, and then I'm going to join the point as well. So for the shoulder princess seam area, we're going to go to the shoulder slant now, measure that point, divide it into 2. So because this is the front, you want the bust to come out really well. So what I'm going to do is now join that midpoint of my shoulder slant that I have marked all the way to my bust point line. Then we're now going to go ahead and take the dart at that place. So I mark 1/2 inch towards my center front, and then 1 inch towards my armhole area. I'm going to go to my bust point, mark 1 inch upwards, which ended at my bust point line, and then I'm going to use the curved part of my pattern master to curve it out. You don't want to use a straight part so that the curves can come out really well. So this is how this looks at the end of the day. So as you can see, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, a total of 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is now extend my shoulder slant line, because we are cutting that part out and then you need to replace it. So I mark my shoulder slant downwards like so, and then from where the armhole curve begins, I'm just going to replace that 1.5 inch there, I measured the dart allowance at this point that I'm going to cut out, which is at the midpoint of my armhole. So whatever I get there, I'm going to replace it, which is exactly that, plus about 1/8 of an inch, I think. Yeah, 1/8 of an inch. So I mark that right there. Then from that point now, I curve the armhole again. So this is going to be my new armhole curve. So I hope you guys got this part really well. It's very important. So I've started that point to show that that's my new armhole curve. So I got to my under bust now. We are going to be taking our darts at the under bust. I go with 1 inch on both sides. Like really, I really wanted this to come out really well, the curve. I mark 0.75 inches on my waistline. That's a total of 1.5 inches. I mark 1/2 inch downwards from my bust point line. The reason I'm actually doing all this 1 inch downwards, 1 inch upwards, like I said, so that the curve of my bust area can come out well. So I use the French curve to curve out the darts, like I said, for the curves to come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover the edges of the dart connections so that it has a smooth curve and it's easy to cut and join. So I mark my under bust measurement divided by 4, and the dart I'm going to cut out 2 inches. I mark that. I do the same thing for my waistline. My waist divided by 4, I mark that. The dart allowance I'm going to take in away, which is a total of 1.5 inches, I mark that there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and join the point from my armhole line to my under bust to my waist. So I have this very funny curve right here. So what I'm going to do now is add my allowance of 1.5 inch at my waist area. Now for my under bust, I'm going to be adding just 1 inch. I've noticed that when I sew, I usually have like an excess at my under bust allowance area, so I'm not bothered with that. So I added 1 inch, and then for my bust area I added 1.5 inch. So I marked this point to show that yes, this is 1 inch that I added 1.5 inches on those points, and as you can see, it actually met the point. So right here, like I said, we are done with our dart allowance. We are now going to go ahead and extend the shoulder, one of the dart legs at the shoulder slant area. If you don't do this, by the time you're sewing, that part is going to kind of like be really short. So we extended that by 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to connect that to the new armhole line. Like I said, you need to do this so that when you're sewing, that place does not get short, and then your shoulder slant will not be too slanted, because you have to trim some excess off. So if you're cutting this, you need to be mindful of that point so that you don't start your pattern drafting all over again. So I'm going to cut out the dart, follow the curve so that it comes out really smoothly. Like I said, you need to be careful at that shoulder slant area. So I've cut it out now. I'm going to go ahead and cut my allowances. So remember, I've already added allowances to the side seam. So what is left is the other places. So this is my pattern, all cut and ready. This is the front piece. So I'm going to go ahead and label the points where I'm going to be adding allowances. So for my shoulder slant area, I'll be adding 0.5. If for my neck area, I'll be adding 0.5 as well, especially if you're lining this. So basically all around is 0.5 and 0.5 all around. So like I said, remember, we have our allowances here and here, so you don't need to add anything there. Shoulder slant 0.5 inches. The parts that you're going to be joining back together, you need to add 0.5 inches. Your armhole curve area 0.5 inches. So practically everywhere is 0.5 inches except your side seam allowance. So this is how the front pattern looks like. So I've gone ahead to cut it out on fabric, adding the necessary allowances. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the pattern paper and then take it to my machine and join the points. I usually join the points from the bottom up all the way to the top. So I'm just going to pin that in place and then sew the points, pin it to my mannequin, and then show you guys how it looks. So this really came out well. There was no stress, there was no hassle. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this tutorial. I hope this was beneficial to you. Don't forget to like and share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So yeah guys, this is how the pattern looks after sewing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye.